Hello and welcome to the Roundtable Podcast. My name is Rafi. Joining me tonight is Dracaar to talk about dream mastery, the nature of symbolically deciphering dreams and its benefits, methods on how to achieve lucid state, working and controlling one's dreams after achieving lucid state, method on remembering dreams, inciting dreams, what it means to be a master of one's dream states, methods of escaping dream states to enter the realm that contains it, the astral. Please follow us on the Roundtable Podcast YouTube channel. Please join the Roundtable Discord. Follow our 4 other YouTube channels. Check out our BitChute. Check out our merch store. On the Roundtable Discord, we do these events almost daily. We have crazy cool voice chats with awesome people like Dracaar. Without further ado, how are you doing, my buddy?
Fantastic. I'm trying to get
Awesome.
this smoke in right quick and
Sure.
take much time. But let's do it.
I have been very excited to do a podcast. I've been itching to interview, and I think this will be a great thing. I was very interested when we touched on dreams in a previous podcast, and I'm excited to do a full podcast on it. So you're going to start us off with dream mastery, but you've deciphered dream mastery into a lot of different categories. So we'll start dreams with the nature of symbolically deciphering dreams and its benefits, why it's crucial. And I'm actually hyper interested in this because the metaphorical representation of what dreams mean to me is hyper interesting. So how do you feel about that?
I would say that the nature of dream symbolism, is completely tailored to the person who is dreaming, which means that there is no universal dream symbol. Somebody can't tell an individual that a snake in their dream is a bad thing with certainty. Someone could suggest that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's true, because many of these symbols, they mean different things for different people, because a snake in my dream most definitely means a very positive thing. It usually represents like my life is going in the right direction, or that there's an upcoming event or a spiritual experience of some kind that will catalyst me. It's different because many people claim that snakes are bad dreams, which it may be true for them, but most people don't understand that dream symbolism is not universal. Symbolism is universal in the sense that if it's a language, using telepathy, symbolism is a universal language. But in this aspect, dreams, you define your own dream symbols with your own definitions. Your dreams come up with concepts and create scenarios before you enter the dream, and you're in that scenario. Everything in that dream, all the way down to the smallest inanimate object, all have a meaning, be it insignificant or significant. Keeping that in mind, and knowing that others cannot define your dreams, only you can. Others can only suggest what dream symbols may mean, which may help you make connections that you didn't see originally, because your subconscious, it interprets, it speaks in symbolism, and that symbolism can seem foreign to the person who is dreaming, writing them down, and trying to figure it out. But it does come from you, and aligns what it speaks in ways in which it feels like it can properly represent what the dream means, what your conscious is focusing on to create that dream. When you begin to write down your dreams and decipher your dreams, the longer you do this and the more you commit, and combined with other practices that help to remember dreams and things like that, doing this will help you to understand how your subconscious speaks, and over time you'll become lucid. Because
Can I just ask, Dracaar, before we move on to lucidity, can you explain how one deciphers dream symbology and how one knows what something does mean in a dream?
Well, I've taught people on how to do this successfully a few times, and the way I try to describe it is that dream symbols, once placed in the right spot, once you wrote down a dream, figured out and deciphered your dream, what it means, what it's connected to in regards to your own life, that you begin to have that, once you make that discovery while you're figuring out, and it's like, oh my God, you make those connections. It's a serious aha moment in which that you cannot say that there is any doubt in that this dream must mean this, because you're pointing to your own life. What can this mean in regards to my own life? What is this trying to say in regards to my own life? That's the origin of how to decipher, like the basis on how to decipher it. So a lot of the times it's very, very much close to the day they had before they had that dream. It is almost always most significant. Not necessarily. It could be something that has been on your mind, or just been on the forefront of your focus for a week. Maybe it's something that's a recurring dream that happens over the course of a few months, or maybe a year at a time, or maybe longer gaps than that. The significance in that dream, these repeated dreams, what it tends to hold on to, are particular definitions that held you in some sort of focus in a significant way for that long of a period of time, in which you would look into certain parts of your life in which there are more meaningful things in your life that you love, that you hate, that have emotional attachments, that which define your life, or what your goals, or the things that made you into a person that you are today. Those are dreams that are more relevant to those things, long-term meanings that continuously you have these dreams because they're somehow still significant years later, let's say.
So, but how do you decipher what actually the symbols in your dreams mean? Like, how do you know that this dream meant this in relation to it when it was purely metaphorical?
Because the metaphor is generated from your daily life. So the symbols, if you are, I assume that people here know what symbolism is.
Yeah, we'll assume that.
I mean, I could get into that if you want, just for simplicity, because I had people ask me that before.
What symbolism even means? You can do that briefly if you feel like it. Sure.
Yeah. Well, what symbolism is that one thing, anything, is simply represented as something else. There is an attachment origin, in which case I referred to earlier as our own lives when it comes to dreams, that allows that attachment to exist. And that's what gives it its meaning.
Well, that's interesting, because like I had some dreams recently that I figured out the meanings of, where one of my dreams was the center of a cruise ship, and I realized that was actually like my astral body, and that was how I envisioned my heart, as empty and hollow and full of like casinos and drunk people and everything, and I really related to that as like my internal thing. And I also had another dream where I related, well, the symbolism was of an electric tower, and I think that was like my girlfriend's legs, like my desire towards her and like the adventures we have and stuff like that. And I put those together through the same type of symbolic representation that you're talking about. So it sounds very cohesive. And so from that point on, we then move into lucid dreaming.
No. I still want to talk about the nature of
Yeah. Okay, sure.
So the deciphering of one's dream, if you were to say that one person was successful at doing so and was committed, meaning that they had a strong desire to get better at this skill, which is effectively gaining more awareness in what things are and what they refer to in regards to your dream. And it shows certain parts of yourself that you might not necessarily see without this dream having focus. And it sort of can give you a second perspective on what it's referring to. Like I said, it's tied to things that are meaningful to you. So let's just say the day before a dream, your mind is focused on this upcoming exam and you're in college. Oh my God, you're sweating over it, not only because the class itself is a difficult subject for you, you struggled with, but that you felt that there was a strong lack of assistance on your part, despite you asking for it from teachers or whoever, and wasn't given resources to get better at what you were clearly lacking at. So you're nervous about this upcoming test. You know that it means a lot. This final exam, oh my fucking God, I'm going to make half my time here go down the shitter. So that's going to be like on your mind, right? Whether you're going to fail or not, whatever. That what you think is going to happen is likely to happen in a dream. Making symbolic focus on this. You're sweating over it. It's not meaningful to you, but you feel like you're powerless. So maybe the dream will have you in a monster dream, where big bad monster is fucking way bigger, way faster than you, effectively trying to throw you down and hit you, and you got these shields and sort of little like sword things pointing out of them and stuff, and you got to find a way to defeat this monster with the, like, little amount of equipment. And however the outcome goes, whether you defeat the monster or whether the monster defeats you, if it was referring to this college exam in this example, then it would be represented, obviously, with the monster being the test itself, or the idea of facing the test, that you feel like this is a very hard to overcome challenge, very hopeless, because you're small dude against a big monster, like I said. So that whether you win, say you win, it's usually a representation that you feel like you have the ability to pass this in some way or another, and that there's either a chance or maybe you feel like you're knowledgeable enough to pass it on a average or below average way. At least you pass it. Or at least you get the most of the points or whatever is significant to you. You feel like that before this happens, this test, that you have an ability to face it, even with these down odds. Now, if you were to lose, it would represent your emotions, how you convince yourself that you're not able to do it, or to represent that you actually truly can't do it. There is actually no logical way you can, and that when you take this test, you're going to fail without any, without any second guessing. You know this is going to happen. Now, all that attitude is not exactly reinforcing, but someone might think this is themselves. And this dream, with the ending being the monster has beaten you, it would represent that emotional attachment, or weakness, or inability, or powerlessness to stop it.
Yeah.
So, does that make sense? Like
I 100% get what you're saying, and I think you explained it really well.
Right. And this is all reference to a fictional character that had this dream, that has experienced these things before the dream, and had he deciphered the dream correctly, it would fall into those categories, because it's on his mind all the time. It's just the day before, whatever is on your mind, whatever tends to be the most you focus. Could be even a TV show that you say you fucking binged on TV shows of a certain nature. You might have a dream about it. It's likely you have a dream about it, or something that happened on these shows, something that piqued your interest. But usually dreams point to significant things in that day before the dream happened. So it's important for people who start after they've written down their dreams to start looking at the symbolism, deciphering, as the ability to look at the day beforehand and take note on the things that you were thinking about the most. Big occurrence happened yesterday, like maybe you got into a fight and it was heavy, dramatic. It was most likely to be about that, so much emotional attachment.
Do you think somebody should write that in their dream journal? If they're like taking a dream journal, when they write down their dreams, should they write down the events that happened the day before and the potential things that they relate the symbolism to?
That could help if they think that they can't do that already in their mind. That could certainly help. It would make it a longer process, but it doesn't matter. If you're committed and that's what you think you have to do it. And that's it. For those who have the determination to want to actually go through with mastering one's own dream state. I mastered my own dream state, and I don't know if it's because I'm what I am, rather than just, my predisposition to spirituality in general and things. I think these things have me get a jump on something like this, but it could also be, and I admit that could be applying this could be applying to everybody, that it could take 2 months for practically anybody to do this. I suppose it depends on how much you dream every day, because when I started, I was already dreaming a lot, and it wasn't very hard to get the details of these dreams because of one single recommendation on remembering dreams. And it's something I'll talk about later. But that hint allowed me to remember my dream so much more detail, and deciphering it became not so very hard. And I joined a dream forum, a really crappy website. It didn't even have banners or colors or nothing. It was just the crappiest dream forum in the world, and I loved it because there were people that are genuinely interested in reading others' dreams and giving suggestions on what they mean. And and it's like I came in there already knowing that somebody else can't decipher your dream, and that dream dictionaries are never something to look at, as these definitions are what my dream is trying to say. See, the suggestions people give could help. If you're not used to the way your subconscious speaks, it may use a certain way of speaking that it's literally like learning a whole other language, but it's your language. All expressed using concepts in a realm of its own in which it creates, and you are the center. There's a circle, and you're at the center. You dream within your own space. Everything in there, despite you walking around in the dream, everything around you is you. And this is why you're able to manipulate your dreams to the extent that you can. You're merely playing with yourself.
So I think we've covered symbolism pretty intently, but how about we walk into lucid dreaming and how to control your lucid state and altering your dreams when you realize you're in them?
Okay, so one thing I'm going to say the last thing you said right quick. Being able to manipulate your dreams is entirely dependent on your ability to understand the language of your subconscious, connect to those aspects of yourself, and change anything in a dream. Do anything in a dream. You allow it to be possible, and when you become a master in your dreamscape, in your dream space, in my opinion, the people that I tried to teach, I set that as the ultimate goal, and then there's other goals past that. Not to just not discourage them. They do it for their own reasons. So I'm only trying to encourage them and teach them. And I have a couple successful students, but for the most part, the ones that tried to take this on didn't have the effort. I want to make it clear that you wouldn't be able to master this unless you had the real desire to do so, and to see what you could do. It's actually fascinating. Just let anyone listening to this know that it's fascinating. And once you start doing stuff in your lucid dreams and manipulating stuff, it's really fun. It actually is. I had a lot of fun with that up until I got to the point where I can manipulate anything in any way I want. What was the other two? I'm sorry, could you repeat the other two things, Rafi, if you remember?
The other two questions? Well, you said the other two questions in your talking points, or my other two questions about lucid dreaming?
What you had said just before I started talking. You listened.
I how you achieve a lucid state. You could talk about how one actually becomes lucid,
Okay.
and I asked what you do once you become lucid. So how do you actually change your dream state?
Perfect. So doing what I said, recording your dreams in any way possible. Some people, and this is actually pretty cool because it delves into how techniques on how to remember your dreams properly and in more detail, and a certain tip that you would think absolutely isn't going to work, it does, and I swear it does 100%. This will happen. I'm a master of my own dream state myself. I wouldn't say so without telling you. I wouldn't say this without making it absolutely clear. And that I would never do a podcast like this and actually give certainties unless I knew it's almost like a whole nother skill and ability that has its own classification. So to become lucid, you do have to record your own dreams. Remember them, record them, make active practice and general dedication to do so. And if you can have that dedication, it will push you through. Some people need to wait until they start achieving lucid state to get that, and start realizing what they can do and have fun with it, and be like wow, I'm really excited to go to sleep tonight because I'm gonna start doing this and doing that. When you are able to become lucid, you start being able to make those decisions. And as you do record your dreams and decipher them, even if you fail at it, the forum for me had helped because it gave other perspectives on how my subconscious may be. But the point being, being able to decipher that and make these recordings, or because that's what I was referring to before I got my mind lost track.
Yeah.
That the recording device is behind someone's pillow, like a tape recorder or device, preferably not within something that's has a wireless LAN on it or anything like that. I personally think that if anything is in a bad way, or suppress it. But if you can do that, you can save yourself and a lot of trouble, and have a recording of your dream right when it's fresh, right before you start moving around. And when you're able to do that, you have a more truthful and more detailed and more accurate recording of what happened in your dream. Because I will tell you, doing this, especially when you're deciphering your dreams, you might be able to figure it out, but you are given less hints because the less hints you have to decipher your dream, the less likely you are to get it accurate. You might get it confused with what it means as something else. The important thing is that you're trying, and that builds up the skill. This will lead you to lucid state on its own, but there are other pointers that can be given out to achieve lucid state. But this is the primary one. Remembering, recording, deciphering your dreams, and having small practices, small little techniques that I'm going to get into probably now. Is that okay if I go on now, or you had that third?
Yeah, sure. What are the techniques?
Okay, so remembering your dream. A lot of people have a hard time with this. People who came to me many times over with this problem, and I had this one solution, and trust me, it works. When you get up in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, let's say your alarm is set for 7 a.m. Wake up early, you got work to do, early day. And you set an alarm for half the time you sleep until. So if you lay down and fell asleep and had 8 hours of sleep before the alarm went off, and you knew it would be relatively around that time that you would wake the alarm, or you set an alarm that's not too disruptive, but that'll wake you up, something close and easy for you to shut off, and all you do is lay back down and go to sleep. I guarantee you do this, your next dream is going to be so vivid, so much detail, that it'll be clear in your mind. But to remember your dream, when you wake up, you have to move very slowly. That little trick I just talked about is called the alarm trick. But increasing that vividness is a goal, because it potentially gives you the details of your dream in a way that's so detailed that even if you got half of it right, as far as the symbolism, what's really referring to, what your subconscious really means by that even in the failures hold a good practice and being able to do it, so long as you know the way things operate as far as symbolism, you're not making mistakes. Because what I said earlier about people and their symbols and what they mean, and that it's specific to the person and nobody else. That me saying that is saying that everybody defines their own dream, period. The only symbolism that will work are the ones you put together. And sometimes dreams symbols are so obvious before you even start to figure them out that you knew before you even started what this is referring to and what it could be. Because you start getting used to doing this to where that if you write down your dream and you went through it, you can understand the symbolism very quickly, and it wouldn't be such an impact on or much dedication at all. But it's enough, that little bit is enough, and eventually, you start to lucid dream way more often, and then that builds on until you start lucid dreaming every night. Some people at that point start, when they keep doing the practice, they'll have multiple dreams in a single night, all of which are lucid. Eventually, hopefully, people on their own, like I did, in some aspect, and eventually shares, is somebody who can share that knowledge after they went through it. Someone that can use that knowledge to help, because it's only when you're in my position where you can get certain advice. And about dreaming, I promise, certain advice you learn. So that natural oncoming of lucid dreaming, not everybody approaches it like the way I'm trying to encourage here, which is to start practicing anything in your dream. Start trying to change things. Start navigate your dream and go with it lucid, and see what happens. Always keep in mind when you're lucid, because some people had problems with becoming non-lucid after having become lucid, and that's nothing to worry about. Just keep doing what you're doing, you'll be fine. Once you start lucid dreaming every night, it gives you every opportunity in the world. But like I said, not everybody just comes up with this, and this is the important, vital information that everybody should know in getting into that. The ability to recognize that in your dream, in your aware dream, that you have an effect on everything in your, and how it plays out, and that there's connections between the things that are in your dream actively and what they're supposed to mean. Your connection and ability in your own dream space to understand the basics of how the objects, people are formed, the area around you formed, that you essentially become a reality manipulator, an overall reality manipulator, only in your own dream. You're able to create anything, destroy anything. You're able to change your entire dream into total blackness, into the base fragments of the dream, and recreate a whole new scene for yourself out of nothing. Like, that's the point in which you are a dream master, by the way, when you're able to do that. That's a goal. That's a goal of practicality. It's your skill and in your ability to manipulate your dreams and be honest about, like, because I'll give them questions, like how many of the dreams did you able to change the colors of this? How many dreams were you able to create something, list that something? I would. I had a class that worked, but it was short-lived. I wish I could have done it more. Probably should have done it more. But lately, I just felt like I didn't have time. This podcast is a perfect substitute, because instead of working with people, if people come to me about dreams, wrote them this link. And do you have any questions? You have more questions for sure, right?
Yeah, I was wondering what are some other interesting things that people who are more inclined in dreaming and lucid dreaming can do in lucid states. Like, what are some? Obviously, I think everybody knows the basic things like flying and like controlling their dream, waking themselves up. But what are some like really out there kind of things that people can do when they're lucid dreaming?
I came up with a lucid dream that would teach people a fundamental basic of how the dream operates in just one instance. So let's say someone's lucid dreaming every now and again, and someone like me came along and said, hey, you should start trying to manipulate. The very first thing while in lucid state that you should do, and it's very, very simple, you wouldn't believe how simple this is that while you're lucid, find any door at all. Could be attached to a house, could be attached to whatever. So long as you have the ability to clear your mind and focus on one thing while you hold the handle or knob of the door, and you're able to think of one singular thing. It can be anything. For me, on my first try on this, I did my iguana scales. It means a lot to me. And I opened the door after thinking about it. it's my primary focus. And I opened this door to a room. It was only my iguana was in the center. There was nothing else in the entire room. That's a rare occurrence because a lot of people have what's called a little bit of residual or lack of focus, you can call it, but it's a residual thing that edits different aspects of the dream. The fact that my iguana was in a blank white wallpaper room in the center of it literally gave me the symbolic representation of my focus and my ability to not focus on anything else but my iguana. Was my mind cleared of everything else. That entire thing was a symbol in itself. So there's also another practice of going around your dream, and I developed this technique too. Go around in your dream and start deciphering things symbolically while you're still dreaming. Literally pointing out symbolic representations. Oh, I know what that means over there.
Whoa, that's cool.
And that's really, you start getting this weird feeling when you do that. I'm not kidding. Every time you do this, you will start to feel very weird. You start to feel like you're going inside of yourself. So, it's a gut
Like
feeling.
it's getting meta, like.
Yeah, no, it's like you're getting ahead of the dream, and like you just pass from level 4 to level 5, and the system can't handle level 5, and thus gives you this uncomfortable feeling.
So do you have anything else you'd like to talk about regarding lucid dreaming before I ask you about being a master of your dreamscape?
Yeah, I would like to share that finish that. That technique is important because
Sure.
it tells you what you're focusing on before you open that door. That door is representation into another area. That's how your dream interprets doors. This is almost always universal. There's rare cases that this is not, but this dream symbol is a very like conceptual and easily understood. What do they call these? These called it they're not it's not a universal definition, but it's it slips me. It's a phrase that says that this archetypal symbolism is things that can either refer to one thing or the other, like up or down. Symbols that are archetypal could also mean a singular archetypal symbol, and doors happen to be one of them. Because you close your eyes and essentially meditate, like just for a second, clear your mind and focus on this thing. If you are successful, which I almost guarantee you'll be successful, like I said, I'm not sure about anything else. That's points to something completely different. But this will tell you that you are successful at putting this in your mind before opening that door. If you were to think of the scary monsters behind that door, if you were already scared in a dream that you're not lucid in, and you entered the door, it's very likely that when you open that door, there's something bad on the other side, and some people might have dreams like this. If anybody does, say aye. Opening the door and something bad on the other side, because you're scared before.
That's really interesting.
I have a few questions.
No, it's still not open to questions yet, but we'll get there soon. So, Dracaar, can you explain what it's like to be a dream master, how one gets there, and what it is potentially?
Well, it's something that seems fantastic at first, but it gets pretty boring, and you start figuring out ways you could dream that are like lucid, but not lucid, and like doing shit like that. But what it means to be a dream master is to be able to reconstruct an entire dream, turn it into total nothingness, and create an entire scene. Like say you were in a desert before, and you zipped your dream reality into nothingness, and now you're in a fucking technocratic fucking machine with boxes moving everywhere, and people being transported by tubes and liquid.
So I guess what are the steps? You said there were a couple necessary steps that one has to go through to be a dream master. Do you want to go through those steps?
Yeah. start by, okay, first, I want to give a tip to those who don't dream at all or rarely dream.
Sure.
Just give a definition from top to bottom what it is. There are a couple of techniques that will help you in increasing your dream state. The alarm trick is one of them. That little interruption in your sleep halfway before you want to wake up allows you, so long as you don't move around, you gotta try to stay as still as you can and use your body slowly to turn off the alarm. Then go back to bed peacefully. If you roll around, do it slowly. Go back to bed. I almost guarantee that if someone who doesn't dream barely at all will have a dream in those 4 hours, and a good one. It's one, but there's also one if you can take melatonin, which is an over-the-counter hormone related to the pineal gland, and hormones that help sleep. Now, some people claim to take this melatonin and have dreams that are vivid, in a very short amount of time after taking it. Maybe the day of taking it or the day after. But the technique is not in that aspect. If for someone who barely dreams, it's still likely not to work in those 2 days. So you take it for 2 days. I would say 3 milligrams, and then stop taking it on the 3rd day. Go to bed without taking it on the 3rd day. And use whatever method you need. Hold on one second.
Wow. Is there anything else regarding being a master of your dream state? I mean, obviously there is, but is there anything you want to touch on?
I was just going from top to bottom, but I was giving detail to the bottom hints because I wasn't quite done with the hints, giving hints about certain things that I had mentioned before. And so I'm still on a subject that's now or just a tip from beforehand, but it's something crucial for the viewers if they are to know these things. That's what's going to help. So another thing. Being able to write your dreams down is fun, but remembering your dreams can be a problem. And this is something I'm going to give a tip on that everybody should know. That when you wake up in the middle of the night to pee, or if you don't wake up at all, do the alarm trick. But if you wake up to pee, move very slowly. Think in your mind, turtle. I'm going slow. If you have something beside your bed that you pee in, that's wonderful. If you don't and you have to walk to a bathroom, do so slowly. I mean slow. Take steps. Try to remain in a half asleep, half not asleep. The more you do this, the more you're able to remember your dreams after having it. So while you're walking slowly and everything, it's likely, or if you're not, you should choose to start going over your dream because you're awake. If you did it, assuming that you had a dream in those 4 hours. But if not, it's like that moving slowly allows you to keep yourself connected to the non-waking world. And the non-waking world and moving your body quickly and jerking it brings you into the physical plane in your waking state much faster. If you were to wake up and start flinging it around after you had a dream that you could remember halfway or remember all the way, once you start jumping around like that, jerking around, you're so slammed so fast into your physical body, completely on your waking state, not in your dream state in the astral, that you'll notice that a dream that was just on your mind had literally just disappeared. Something that you even went over, perhaps. or seemed like that you woke up with great memory of what happened, and that recalling these instances while you were getting up wasn't a problem up until you say, "Oh shit, I'm late for something," and then you jump into your clothes and run around, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth. Once you start doing that, that movement, all that movement, potentially erase good, significant portions, details that you won't remember again, likely, that often get filled in with fictional things that didn't happen. People tend to do that. They try to fill in the gaps of what happened and not accurate. So to move slowly, really, after waking, both in between you going to the bathroom and going back to bed, or just you waking up, moving very slowly for at least a couple of minutes. I encourage people to wake up and try to remain as motionless as possible and go over the dream at least once. If you want to go twice, go ahead. But then start to get up and get up slowly. Get your shoes on or whatever's going on. Hopefully you have the time to do all this and move slowly to the first thing you do in the morning. Now while doing all this, you're going over the dreams, as many times as you can. And then, while doing this, what it does is that it engraves your waking state memory. I'm sorry, your dream state, your memory, your sleeping state memory. Call it, because I'm not using any formal definition. The connection between the two and how you drift from one to the other, if it's done so in a calmly and timely fashion, it allows yourself time to go over your dream and engrave it into your waking state. So that if you wanted to write down the contents of your dream an hour or two from then, you wouldn't have, any worry about not remembering the whole dream because you did all that. But some people still have issues, and it might be good if they have the time to write down their dream or type up their dream after moving very slowly, to your sitting place. Type it up while you're still moving slowly. And often people, when you start getting into these dream states a lot like this, they'll wake up with physical sensations in their body. And sometimes they'll see things on the walls. For me, used to little, worms, energetic worms that were like worming up and down my, or I'm sorry, in little clusters and little, bundles. Worms that were electric looking, but small, and were in clusters. Covered the whole wall, and all of them were moving all the time. But as soon as I started, this is how I discovered this. As soon as I started moving around, especially fast, getting up fast, going, gasping, that's bad, don't do that. But just doing that made these, in an instant, made it go away. Made what I was seeing on the walls and ceilings go away. I was like, wow. And that's what got me to understand that the waking state, sleeping state, waking state transition after you wake up is everything to do with how you remember your dreams. And everybody should practice this, whether they have trouble or not. Because it will give you more detail about dreams, things that you wouldn't have remembered otherwise. This practice is solid. You do this, you go and write your dreams, try to decipher them in the right way. You will get better at your dreams will become more vivid, more frequent. You'll eventually start to lucid dream, if you don't already. Once you start lucid dreaming, that gives you the opportunity to start playing in your dreams, knowing that you control everything, or you are everything in your dream, and thus you have the ability to manipulate in anything you like. Even the people in your dreams are just literally, they're nothing but you. You created this character based on who that was or what you assume about a person like that, whatever. However you define said person. There are constructs which allow your dream to produce like other people in your dreams. There are concepts that are put into play that determine the intensity and the detail Because the details, I don't know if anybody's had a dream that was very vivid. Oh my God, it was almost real. Or sometimes, the wackiness of it will freak you out, but it was like real, like, colorful and crazy shit going on. Dreams like this that pack a lot of detail or last for a long, long time. That's another indication. Tend to be dreams that are have become more vivid to you for one reason or another. That increases your ability to have the dream speak more. And if it speaks more, it gives you more opportunity to decipher that symbolism and get its true meaning. Eventually, you'll get to the state where dream symbolism and you deciphering your dreams is a piece of cake. You know what you're doing. You do the alarm shake every now and again, but you don't need to. And I was able to lucid dream two times a night. Eventually, you get to the point to where you start to manipulate things in your dreams so well. You transport your body, teleport your body from here to here. You're able to change the scene to blood for a little bit of a grotesque example. And there is the possibility of entities entering your dream. These are astral entities. They exist in the astral realm as we do the physical. Other times it's those who are in the physical that access that realm in the same way you do, dreaming. And I've managed to dream you and dreamwalk you. It's not likely, but these are things that you have to figure out on your own when that happens. They're not of harm to you. Never agree to anything. But then their eyes are different than other characters in the dream. What they have to do in order to be in your dream is use one of your own concepts to embody and then be something in the dream and interact. I had a whole group of beings try to recruit me and shit over the course of like 14 dreams in 2 months. Literally a gang of beings, same beings that took different forms but had the same eyes that would come into my dream. This is actually one of my earliest introductions into that, and the fact that entities can actually enter your dream space. When that started to happen, it was something of a trigger. It was for some reason easy for me to discover that there was something different about my dream. Maybe it was because I paid attention to the details of how things feel and everything in the dream, and everything's very textural in my dreams. And that feeling of a dream or a dream object or in real life object in which you feel is enough for me to notice the difference between whether I'm dreaming or not. So because of that, I wasn't just waking up and then lucid dreaming. Like, after a certain point in the dream, I was waking up into lucid dream state before I even made the first anything. It was like it started off that way. That's how much I would dream 3 to 4 times a night. That was incredible. And I always aim to step higher. If I master something, I want to say, how do I learn more? I ended up learning that I could walk long distances on a road or anything in my dream, and I would have never reached the end. Now I know that other entities that exist in this reality. I'm pretty sure I know what reality I'm in, so I say, well, there's no reason for me that I can't be in the same spot. But this road I've been running a long time, flying a long time. Long distances traveled, and there is no end to this one straight narrow road that you created. You do. And realizing that, you start to learn that no matter where you are, your dream follows you. The dream is a circle or a sphere with you at the center, this little dot at the center represented by you. And everywhere you go in your dream follows you because you're like, it's like you're walking on a conveyor belt. Nothing's really happening. The only reason why it seems like your reality is changing as you go and go and go, or the things that are around you, is because it's like a conveyor belt for your entire dream. It's going forward and sliding forward. Therefore, your dream creates things that are, things that are forward, that are coming to you, bringing more things to you, heading towards things. And because of that, you have to learn to actually basically meditate in your dream and protect your awareness, and eventually find the edge of your dream, in which you're going to have to employ various tactics of your own. You know, people at this stage be able to do it on their own, start to use what they know, and then I'll work along week, 2 weeks, depending on the person. Being able to pass that wall is a little bit more difficult when you think you might be able to meditate on the center of the street, project your awareness out, and eventually find this wall, this barrier, which is like an invisible, like very low resolution type barrier, like pixelated and shit, lacking detail, and then you're able to escape your dream reality through these techniques that you eventually understand if you do it by something that should come natural, something to keep trying and trying, then do the first dream, go ahead and do it in the next opportunities. I encourage people to be masters of dreams and make them manipulate reality so grandly before you attempt to do what I'm saying now. Being a master of your dream state, you're able to do these things like project your awareness out. Your center remains at the dream, doesn't go forward like a conveyor belt. Because of that, it allows you to reach. Anyway, a technique that you could try to is a mirrored type technique that allows you a replica of yourself on the side that you're trying to imagine within your head as a mirror wall rather than blur that you're trying to push through. Don't push at all. Just like close your eyes, bring your hands up. Feel as though you're on a very flat piece of glass or a double-sided mirror in which you're doing this against, which allows you to identify with, bring yourself to the other you that you're imagining on the other side, placing their hands on the wall. It's like you're imagining a mirror reflection of yourself, but you're creating the other side.
Dracaar, you're cutting out a bit. Could you mind joining and leaving and rejoining real quick?
Yeah, how long was it like that?
No. You can hear yourself pretty well. You're just cutting out every couple seconds for like a couple seconds.
I'll start closing out of tabs.
All right, it sounds a lot better now. You can keep going if you remember what you're saying.
Where did I leave off? Where did I leave off?
We were talking about leaving the dreamscape, right?
Right. The technique. Did that get explained?
You explained it briefly, but I don't think you really talked us through leaving the dreamscape entirely and entering the astral realm.
Right. I was giving a technique about how to do that, like some things that might work. But I think that at this stage, people will only be successful at making it to the other if they're able to employ their own ways, their own tactics, which develop on their own. And like I said, this is a skill. Being able to manipulate your dream reality is a skill. Doing this is a whole nother skill. But yeah, like I said, imagine the wall that you're against. After you close your eyes, put your hands up, however you put it. Just imagine the mirror version of yourself on the other side doing exactly the same thing. Hands up against the same wall. And picturing that, essentially, you are allowing yourself to create another version of yourself on the other side of the other side of this wall is the astral realm. So that's where there's a limit to what you can do in this realm. You can't just like manipulate things around you like you can in your own dream. So it's a little different rules right there. But because what you're doing here creates another focus point, even though it's outside of your dream, of the barrier, the outside of the plate, the area in which your dream realm exists. You're still able to make this sort of extension of yourself and over-identify the one on the other side try to exit your first person view into like a third person view that sees the on both sides, both versions of you, and apply more detail to the other one, the other side. And you do this until even in the waking world, those rules still apply to your interactions with those in the astral, just not so much. If you don't agree to anything, if you know that it's another being, not just they have to let you know that you're actually something, and you have to be convinced of it and know what you're agreeing to, of course, but never do so. Just never agree to anything, especially the word if it follows the words. All I want is for you to allow us into you or me into you. I got the us thing. I got like dream talk, like I said, by like these beings for a couple of months. It was so fun though. I thought it was fun. There was no harm, so it was fun. I playing hide and seek with these guys and busting them. I said in my one dream when I busted them one time, I literally yelled out, "Busted!" And they give me this fucking smile. They literally give me the smile like anybody would, like, "Oh damn!" There's a lady with the yellow eyes. Her eyes were like so easy to spot because literally she has a pupil that leaked into the color part of her eye. And I mean, there's no other being like that in my dream. I'd never seen anybody like that. I don't know how that would have looked before that.
I think we're going to potentially need a third podcast here because you've done a basic podcast introducing the dreamscape, and now you've done this teaching us how to get there. So I think we need another episode just on what happens there and dream walking and the astral cord that holds you to your form and your own dream and all that stuff. I think we should go in deeper in the future podcast.
How things are for it's individualized. People experience things in different ways, but I mean, just only basics that there are this out there and this out there. It's not our realm, the physical plane. But it's interesting and fun. That's all that matters. The astral realm is experienced differently, and that gave the rules on entity communication. That's all I really need to do. And I was hoping that we could open this question.
Yeah, we can absolutely open it to discussion questions. If anyone has anything they'd like to ask or tell Dracaar about what he's talked about, please go right ahead.
I was wondering, are there any exercises or techniques that someone can do before they're doing any dream work, like to prepare the mind for dream time?
Yes. This is not necessary. Some people find it effective. But thinking about the dream you had before you're going to dream could potentially continue a dream. But it also tells you that what's relevant to your mind then, which the best thing to do is to go over what happened on that day. Go over like in your mind, just like we're playing on a dream. Go over the day and fast forward to the thing and slow-mo when the important things happen in your life. If you're working all day and something significant happened here and there, literally go over each. Keep in your mind, think about dreaming. It'll come. And those things also help you to become lucid faster. Because it preludes you into the understanding that you're in a dream, and it's likely that you're going to be paying attention a little bit more and be more aware once you are dreaming. So you were asking about to using such before bed instances to help with what in particular you said?
Well, I know that sometimes when a person wants to try something, but in the back of their mind, they're thinking it's not really going to work, or I'm not capable of doing it, or I'm not good enough, or whatever. If they put any kind of limitations on what their expectations are or what their capabilities are, I know that will sometimes hinder the whole process, right? So do you recommend any kind of techniques or, like I was saying, exercises that a person can do before they even think of it, like before they actually do any kind of dream work, before they're actually falling asleep, maybe to prepare the mind to think that, there's
that's what I was meaning. Before you're sleeping. All the other things I said was applied to be done before you fall asleep. There's many things it could help with. It really does put your mind, especially if one, like I said, has the dedication to do so. They really want to do this. They want to master their dream realm. And like I said, only when they get lucid state, they start having fun, or starts becoming interesting, if it hasn't already, is when people tend to keep treading down the path make it, they reserve that 10 minutes to write down their dream or whatever. And they make sure to be able to do this because they're committed. And that passion, it really makes a difference in their success rate in doing this. It took me less than 3 months to master my dreams.
Wow, good. That's good. So do you have any techniques a person can do to help them stay grounded in reality, like knowing the difference between wake time and dream time?
So, yes, that's a good question, and I'm glad I get to cover it. So, people who are dreaming often ask themselves, how can I choose to do anything to get me to realize that it's a dream? Usually something funky happens for normal folks, and they say, hey, this isn't real, and then start paying attention to other weirdness and say, hey, this is a dream, which is a lucky lucid wake. The ability to pay attention to things like texture, the way the air feels against your skin, if you could feel it, and which would also be real. The way a table would feel that looks smooth, the way a couch that's rough would feel, the way things smell, how your chest feels when you breathe. These things, if you pay attention to them with the sole purpose of engraving habits into your dream, then you will make these. And as you get good with dream symbolism and what your dream's about, because you're getting into understanding the language of the dream, you're indirectly and essentially understanding what the dream came from, what the dream is all about. And in other dreams, as you get skilled in it, you'll be able to use those as things that are helpful for you to pay attention when you do feel something, when you do smell something. That's when you get to the stage of almost being able to wake up in a lucid state. The next step after that is being able to wake up immediately, know it's lucid, because it's the air around you, the way things are, and the way you feel, and the way you breathe, and things like that it makes somebody immediately awake and aware that they're in a dream. Not awake, but in lucid state. And that's a nice jolt in lucid state. It's you wake up and it's like boom, you get like jolted, like dream.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question enough? Or
Yep, thank you.
okay, no problem.
Black Feathers, do you have a question?
I've got a quick question. I often like to discuss lucid dreaming with people, and some people don't even believe that that's real because they never had it, and of you basically being a god of your own domain, which is your dream. That's the realization of, that you are in your own dream. Automatically gives you so much power because it's the same realization of, this is my dream. I am in my own mind, therefore I can do whatever I want. The simple concept of this is so outlandish and so fantastical to people that some don't even take that as real. So it's so hard to try talking about lucid dreaming and about techniques to achieve lucid dreaming with people that never had it naturally to them. Would you say that these techniques can induce a first lucid dream to someone?
Spontaneous lucid dreaming is a phenomenon for those who dream on a regular basis and might have that lucid dream every now and again. Some people don't even know that it's a thing that people even talk about. If you're asking for techniques, not techniques to say it again. I want to make sure I'm answering this right. Well,
basically, to narrow it down, something more simple. I wonder if you have, for people who never had natural lucid dreams, if it is possible, if there's a good technique to try and awake that first occurrence.
So you're saying something that you could bring to somebody who doesn't believe in any of these things and have them try one thing and make it to where
No,
it's-
not necessarily. That's just a side observation, basically. I'm just saying it was just demonstrate of how fantastical of a phenomenon lucid dreaming is. But my question is how to make someone who never had lucid dream and is willing to and want to have one.
willing. Okay, yeah, that's where I got mixed up. Is they're up there willing? I'm thinking somebody who didn't have any willpower to do so, and you're like convince them and to do this, whatever. No, okay, all right. They have the will to do it. That's all they need. These techniques that I'm telling you that I've already said, if they practice them all, especially, the results will be phenomenal. That's the best and most solid way to work your way up to lucid. They'd have to say they're willing to try it and put effort into it.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else that would like to give a Jogan? Jonathan? Stein?
Sure, we got another question here from somebody.
Who?
Well, I don't know who.
I'm Mr. B.
All right, going once for a question. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this podcast. It was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too.
Yeah, and I hope that the information helps people not only here but to videos that I'm going to share this with people that are already asking. I don't have time. It'll be a great reference to toss around, and I promise you these are solid techniques. There's probably others out there like the hand habit. Yeah, I'm not going to describe it, but there's other techniques out there that I didn't mention here that I didn't know about here. So if anybody on Discord is watching this, then don't be afraid to DM me and to ask me questions, because like I said, I promise you this is the right way to do it.
You heard it here first. Don't be a stranger. Dracaar is open to all DMs all day, 24/7 from all people. Any questions about anything, but mostly, especially dreams. Thank you for coming on, Dracaar. I really wanted to do a podcast tonight. I think this was fantastic. Thank you so much to our huge live audience, the people who came and the people who are still here. Thank you for everyone who asked questions. Thank you for watching us on the Roundtable Podcast YouTube channel or our 4 other YouTube channels, where you should obviously subscribe and join the Roundtable Discord. You should also check out our merch store and our BitChute, and we do daily events here every day. Thank you so much to everybody in the live audience. We can hop up into the Roundtable voice chat or maybe the pub so we can do video and potentially start a D&D game. Thank you so much.